looking for it here.
Gaming. Over the years, what was once niche and nerdy has gone mainstream. For most people, gaming is a hobby, but for a select few, it's so much more.
Esports is really exciting because it is the fulfillment of tons of dreams. That's the best way I can describe it. To your average player, esports is really interesting because it's just really exciting. It's seeing tons of people do what they want to do. Sitting in the audience, looking up on that stage and seeing some guy that you might have played against online competing, having people record him, shoutcast his games, tons of hype, tons of excitement. That's like what makes people want to play and want to get into it.
Esports is one of the world's fastest growing industries, with hundreds of professional players, millions of viewers, and with the biggest prize money offered to date being $100 million.
My name is Jared Fletcher, and I'm the general manager for Chaos Esports.
Of course, full Swedish lineup, making it hit, of course, picked up by one of the biggest organizations in esports, especially in the European scene.
My name is Victor Andersson and goes by the in-game name Siren. As a team, I think we started like in January, in the beginning of the year. Snook rules secretly, they were teammates, they were playing in Pro League already. They wanted to make a Swedish team, so they contacted Red Group about it. Then, like he said, of course, I'm gonna join. Then we have me and Crips. They asked me to like pick them up as a coach because I had like more like the tactics and like layouts in my head.
Rainbow Six is a really fast-paced first-person shooter game that boils down the elements of Counter-Strike Go, which is another first-person shooter game, and a lot of other like more tactical slow-paced shooters, and really mixes them in a really good way. It's 5 players versus 5 players. They take turns attacking and defending bomb sites, and there's a ton of destruction. It's really exciting, and there's always tons of back and forth, which is something that creates like an environment of constant guessing and not knowing who's going to come out on top, which makes the community really exciting and makes the game really exciting.
It's the morning of the first day, and Chaos's opening match will be on the main stage. But for the team, the match has already begun.
Today, we're going to be against Cloud9. What I've been doing for like the past week is like watching like old games they played, the weaknesses on their like the site. You can feel the pressure a bit, but not really. Siege was released like 3 years ago. The first LAN we had was in a small area, and now the venue we're gonna have now is gonna be like a whole arena. That arena is gonna be amazing. If we go to top 4, and that only team that isn't qualified to Paris, we will get the spot to Paris.
The first game is against America's Cloud9. With the opponents researched, tactics discussed, the team are in high spirits.
I feel really confident. We're gonna take this 2-0.
The stage is set, and with every member knowing their role, even manager Jared is feeling relaxed.
They haven't played Cloud9 before, at least not recently. I'm confident. I don't have to play though. I'm always confident in my team.
The first game of the tournament for Team Chaos will be an early test of their abilities. Making it to the final stages will get them to the Paris Open, a dream for any esports player.
Snooken comes right into the pool table as we saw before. Everything so calm and so collected from the Swedes of Chaos. But ladies and gentlemen, the Swedes of Chaos take it through. They will bring it on.
It's a win for Team Chaos.
My name is Rickard Olofsson. I'm known in game as Secretly. My role, I guess it's part leading role and part like support guy. I just make sure that everyone's doing what they're supposed to do, and I'm the guy who makes things happen. Our ultimate goal, of course, is to be #1, and I don't think we'll ever stop until we're there.
With the first match under their belt, the team head back to the hotel for a good night's sleep before their next match tomorrow. The following morning, the team reflect on their performance.
Yesterday, I would say we were really lucky. C9, they're a good team, so Obviously, again, this win was pretty lucky.
With a few hours to kill before their next match, they prepare the only way they know how.
In Siege, we practice for like to 7 to 11 or 12, like basically like every day.
To start off, you have 2 to 3 hours of like individual practice almost every day, just to keep yourself mentally and just like keep yourself focused at all times. And then you have team practice, obviously, which is also another 3 or 4 hours, so it takes up a lot of time. And then, yeah, you have your official games and you have your matches, so, and that is like, yeah, outside of the practice, so there's even more afterwards as well.
When you're putting so much time into only gaming, I would say it can get hard to keep up. If we win the next match against T3H, we'll be going to playoffs and play tomorrow on stage. If we lose, we're out.
Game 2 is against Britain's formidable T3H, with both teams desperate to reach the knockout stages. And the guys are off to a promising start. But the pressure is starting to show. A quick regroup, and the focus is solely on the endgame.
We just beat T3H for the last playoff spot. It was a really tough game. The last round, and we actually won it. And Grew played huge, Snooken as well, like they performed so good. We managed to pull it through.
At the end of the day, the way I really view esports in general and just life in general is that, you know, as long as you do the work that you know you need to do to be successful and you work hard and you really put in the time, which for a lot of players that's what it really comes down to, is how much time they can invest, and you truly like put in your entire heart into it, then you can't be disappointed at the end of the day with the results. And that's something that I think is lost on a lot of players right now. It's clearly brought success to traditional sports, and it's something that I think that esports really still struggles with. And it's that, you know, winning is important and everyone wants to win, but as long as you're really putting it all out there, that's all that really matters.
It's the final day of DreamHack Valencia, with Chaos facing Team Vitality, and it all comes down to this.
We just want to prove ourselves, be a team that is able to play at a high level, and I think we've shown that.
You could feel like the team mentality, like just going up and up and up. Even when we're losing, we're still keeping the heads up. We want to win.
A win here, and the team go to Paris to play for a life-changing amount of money and a chance to reach the next stage in their esport careers. A loss, and they go home empty-handed.
Chaos might actually take the round after this, but Spark will try to stick it. Comes around from the side, and UNiDAYS clutch the round, taking down Red Groove. Nonetheless, Knowles coming in with the support of Red Groove. Wow.
Looking for it here.
Time is grips. The sets up on the site. Defenders with a lot of time to play with there at the end. Sure what he was doing, comes in right into Bibu. Back to the site just in case. UNiDAYS will hear him push in, but unfortunately for Grips, he checks the wrong angle. And Tips just slightly damaged. There we go. The defenders of Vitality will take round number 9, the only one that they really need.
The one round that they needed, and that is Vitality.
I'm feeling like devastated.
That's overall emotion, like really disappointed. I think everybody just down.
So at DreamHack Valencia, unfortunately, we did not achieve our goal, which as a team, before the event, we set the goal of qualifying for the Paris Major.
Almost put it back, but yeah, it sucks. We know how they play, we could have done a lot better. Nothing went right. We didn't win.
Despite the defeat, this isn't the end for Team Chaos. They take time to unwind, catch up with fellow gamers, and reap the benefits of their community.
The next steps for us after the DreamHack Valencia is to sort of regroup. We have upcoming matches in the Pro League. We're going to prepare for those, we're going to play in those, and just constantly look for the next event to play in, keep practicing, keep improving, and that's always the next step.
I mean, this is the most enjoyable part, just competing, and you know, you get a feeling when you're about to win something, or like that excitement when you're in intense rounds and intense situations. That's just why we're here, that's why we're playing, we love it.
How to feel actually winning something, like that feeling is so amazing. Like, yeah, it's so good.
It's such an amazing feeling. Like when you actually win, it's the best.
So if you really want to become a pro player, you know, it's the same thing. You just got to find the right people in the community. It's all about networking.
Just being together with people like that has the same interest. We share the same goals, and it's like a second family. Going to events, it's just nice, like to play together.
So what's next for Team Chaos?
You have these sort of, I guess, goalposts, but they constantly keep moving. So, you know, it's never the end. Even when you win, it's never the end. You complete it, you win. Even if we won the grand finals here, it's not like that's over now. It's like, then you just want to win the next event. It's something that's true amongst all the players, and with me as well. You're never satisfied. You're never satisfied with winning, and you're never satisfied with losing. And that's ultimately what you have to be successful.